Hello everyone, in honor of Joker coming out soon on Blu-ray and digital, I thought I would rank my personal favorite Jokers, going from my least favorite to most favorite top 10 Jokers. Now this will include live action, video games, and animation. So here we go. Starting at number 10 is Zach Galifianakis from Lego Batman. I love Lego Batman. Such a great film that not only works as a standalone Lego film, but is a brilliant satire and just kind of like homage to the 80 years of the Batman character for any Batman fan, for any generation. And I really love how they play Joker and Batman's relationship, and Galifianakis does a great job as the Joker, you know. He pretty much has that fun cartoon nature of Cesar Romero, but then adds something else to it. It kind of has an obsessive element that we see in the comics. And I love that because without Joker, there would be no Batman. And without a Batman, Joker would have no purpose. And they convey that very well with the story of Joker choosing to be caught by Batman, having him admit that he needs him in his life, and then him going after the Phantom Zone villains and unleashing them upon Gotham City. I really love the jokes they have with the character, references to Batman 89, Dark Knight. Overall, there is a lot of love put into it, and I really think Galifianakis does a great job as the Joker. I know it's in Lego form, but it's definitely one of my favorite interpretations of the character on film. Above that is Jared Leto in Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad was not the best film, and as much as I didn't like the grills on his teeth or the tattoos, I really actually liked Jared Leto. I think he should have had more to do. I would have loved to see him go face to face with Ben Affleck. Sadly, we didn't get any of that, but I still like his role. It's not as iconic as Nicholson or Ledger, but for what it is, it works, you know? I love the unpredictable nature. I also love that they made him kind of like a gangster mob figure again. He is a bit thuggish, but he's unpredictable, and it kind of reminds me of like the New 52 All-Star Batman and Robin Joker, you know? From the comics, he definitely has that vibe. And overall, I think he did a solid job. It's not the best Joker, but it's definitely not among the worst, I think. I just like it for what it is. It is what it is. It's very different than the other ones. I would have loved it if they explored more of the mad love story with him and Harley Quinn and their abusive relationship. Overall, there just wasn't enough footage to really fully judge Leto's. It wasn't as strong as what came after or before, but I just wish we got to see him explore that role a bit more, despite how method he went with it. And the Suicide Squad cast, overall, I liked what he did. After that is John DiMaggio from Batman Under the Red Hood. I really love what DiMaggio did. You know, as far as animation goes, Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill are the go-to for Batman and Joker, but Bruce Greenwood surprised me as Batman, and John DiMaggio really made the role his own in Under the Red Hood. I loved him as the Joker. You know, he was a firecracker, he was unpredictable, he was a wild card. And I really love how they conveyed that in his voice, how brutal and sadistic he can be at times, yet how morbidly funny. He really played a great Joker, all the way down to that confrontation at the end where he was waiting for Batman and Jason Todd to face off and ready just to go out in a blaze of glory. Joker's all about chaos, and he wanted this death trap to go through with Batman and the former Robin, Jason Todd. Overall, I love the beginning with the whole death in the family arc with Jason Todd, and I love it where he gets out of police custody and just reigns free, reigns havoc towards the end of the third act. I love this movie, and John DiMaggio gave a memorable performance for animation, and that's hard to do after Mark Hamill. He didn't try to be Mark Hamill, he did something completely different and made the role truly his own. After that is Cesar Romero from the 60s show and film. Cesar Romero started it all. Yes, even with his mustache. I love Cesar Romero as the Joker. Him and I actually share the same birthday, February 15th. That's crazy. But I love what he started in live action, you know? He was a bit more campy, a bit more cartoonish, but he still had that unpredictable, wild nature. And he was a perfect representation of the time of the comics. He is the gold standard of what everything was based on afterwards. They made it a bit more dark, they made it a bit more true to the comics, but I just love his wacky nature, and there's even some scenes where he just has like the little electric buzzer and just does things out of the blue, you know? He's just the Joker, he's awesome in this. The whole part with, there is a one episode where he goes to like a museum and vandalizes the paintings. That was later used in the 89 Batman. the famous surfing scene. There's so much. And even with the Batman movie, him working with other villains, he was just such an iconic Joker. I loved him, his appearance, his laugh. His hair could have been more darker green, but you know what? I really love what Cesar Romero did with that era of Batman and the Joker. And he really was a president that was really built upon in live action, whether it be television or film. You could definitely see an evolution of the character begin with Cesar Romero's Joker. After that is Cameron Monaghan from Gotham. I love him as Jerome and Jeremiah, but man, Jerome in that first season, that interrogation scene, holy shit, man. He conveyed Nicholson with a bit of Hamill and Ledger. I love it. They need to get the Bruce Wayne and Joker actor from Gotham when they're older, about 10 years from now, and make a reboot. He needs to be Joker in a live action film. He really brought his own unique take to the various forms of Joker in comics, video games, and film and television. So many different incarnations of the Joker. I did not like the bald head at the end, but you know what? He did very much remind me of Heath Ledger mixed with like the Dark Knight Returns Joker, and he just killed the role. He's a Jedi now in Fallen Order. Before that, he was various versions of the Joker. After that is Troy Baker from Batman Arkham Origins. This is one voice actor that can measure up to Mark Hamill, sound just like him, yet knock it out of the park as much as Mark Hamill, stand on his own. He's played various voices in video games, whether it be Nathan Drake's brother, whether it be Two-Face in Arkham City, or Batman in the Telltale, but I love him as Joker in Arkham Origins. I never heard somebody sound just like Mark Hamill and has the same presence as him, and he absolutely killed it in Arkham Origins. He made that game. I love his interpretation of the Joker, his first encounter with Batman, man, all the way to that ending and him finding a purpose, him meeting Harley Quinzel and kind of corrupting her. He is a fantastic Joker, and I hope he plays him in future games, or after Mark Hamill retires officially, I hope they get Troy Baker, because he's the only other Joker actor that could measure up to Mark Hamill in my eyes, voice acting wise in video games and maybe even cartoon. I love Troy Baker. He's a chameleon, and he's one of a kind as Joker. After that is Joaquin Phoenix from Joker. I love Joaquin Phoenix as Arthur Fleck. He's a very different Joker than what came before, and this film felt like an apology for Suicide Squad. I love it. It has elements of Brian Azzarello's Joker, the Killing Joke, with other incarnations. He's a bit of Heath Ledger, but you see a bit of Nicholson, and hear a little bit of Mark Hamill in his laughing voice later in the film. I absolutely love Joaquin Phoenix, seeing his transformation looking feeble to looking more healthy when he's the Joker finding his purpose, seeing his descent into madness, and whether or not it's real. His origin is multiple choice, and as much as I wanted to be exactly like the comic with the vat of chemicals and like the Killing Joke and Matt Love, this is like the most perfect Joker film origin that we could have, that we could ask for. And I absolutely love this film. It has twists and turns, and he gives a knockout stellar performance. You don't want to see him cross that line. You know he's going to become Joker, the clown prince of crime, and it's a tragedy. As much as you want to see that glorified of him finally become the Joker, he gives such a great nuanced performance that you don't want to see him cross the line. You know he's going to turn bad, but you don't want to see it. And it's a tragedy. I love it with that ending with a smile, him being tied to the Waynes. You want to hear another joke, Murray? Oh, man. That scene with Robert De Niro was fantastic towards the end. The backstory, what they did. Oh, and who could forget the scene on the steps with Rock and Roll Part 2, White Room by Cream. Joaquin Phoenix gives a phenomenal performance that's different than any other Joker, that stands on its own and is among one of the very best. After that is Jack Nicholson from Batman 89. I still like Jack Nicholson as the Joker. He is awesome. He brought it out of the campy material and brought a dark, sadistic character. Not as much as Ledger's, but he was a mafioso gangster type. He was a very mean guy before he was a Joker as Jack Napier, and he grounded it into a dark, sadistic way. That one part where he buzzes the mob boss and is just talking to his corpse, and he's just like, "You're a vicious bastard, and I'm glad you're dead." He's just like, "Bob, you are my number one, and I." You wouldn't hit a guy with glasses, would you? I love that. And then, what is it you want? My face on the $1 bill. I just love Jack Nicholson's kind of sadistic performance. He's pretty much Jack Nicholson. He's crazy, but I love it in the movie. He's just like, oh, you know, a little song, a little dance, Batman's head on a lance. I love it. He made that movie. Michael Keaton is great as Batman, but let's face it, Jack Nicholson owned Batman '89, and that movie would be very different without him as a Joker. I love him as a Joker. Perfect casting, and you could definitely tell the influences that film brought to Dark Knight and what came after. I absolutely love Jack Nicholson. A lot of people were forgetting him. I never thought he would be topped until Ledger, but before that, he was the Joker. You can't replace that. He was of his time with the 80s and brought a lot of influence to the animated series and the comics, and I absolutely love Jack Nicholson. You just look at his face, it's the man who laughs, it's the 30s comics, and he is perfect casting as the Joker, among one of the best in live action. And a lot of the young kids out there, you may or may not have seen Batman '89, but he's definitely underrated and I think overlooked now. I love what came after, but let's not forget Jack Nicholson for bringing us the dark, kind of sadistic quality of the Joker onto film. And that film in particular with Batman and Tim Burton's direction, the comics animation of films would be very different after that, you know. It made comic book movies grounded and serious and brought us this kind of like dark version of the Joker that we'd never seen before. We've seen Caesar Romero, but we haven't seen it in like a dark, sadistic way until Jack Nicholson. And yeah, every time I see his role, I always want to listen to Party Man by Prince. After that is Heath Ledger from The Dark Knight. Like I said earlier, I did not think that Jack Nicholson's performance would be topped, but man, Heath Ledger brought it to a whole other level. The way he talked, these civilized people, they'll eat each other when the chips are down. I love that. It's like, why so serious? Sticks the blade in my mouth. Why so serious? I love that. And that interrogation scene is so iconic. They pay homage to '89 with the bat pod going sideways and says like, hit me, come on, hit me. He's like, want to know how I got these scars? I love that. He brought a very dark Joker that was very much like the guy from Clockwork Orange meets Hannibal Lecter, and it was all about anarchy and chaos. I love his Joker. That interrogation scene is so iconic. Probably my favorite meeting scene since Heat with Robert De Niro and Al Pacino, but he is true evil, has no origin. He just is. He is utter chaos incarnate. And I love it where Batman's just like, where are they? And he's just like, killing them while making a choice. And Batman's like, where are they? And then he's just laughing. It's not hurting him. He is just laughing. That is crazy. He's like, want to know why I use a knife instead of a gun? Guns are too quick. You can't savor all the little emotions. You see, in their last moments, people show you who they really are. So in a way, I knew your friends better than you ever did. I love his Joker. And even when he was meeting his death towards the end, before Batman saved him, he was laughing. Damn. An iconic performance and probably my favorite live action performance of Joker. Rest in peace, Heath Ledger is a legend, and that role is just so iconic of the 21st century. After that, for my favorite Joker is Mark Hamill, whether it be the animated series, the video games. Mark Hamill is fantastic as the Joker. Luke Skywalker himself, his voice, his laugh has not been matched. He is the Joker in the fun, zany way, in the sadistic, dark way, in the morbid way, and just the physicality, his way he looks, but the voice is so iconic. You hear that laugh is Joker. And there's been laughs that have come close, but when I hear that, it terrifies me. It makes me feel excited. I'm like, that's Joker. That is Joker. And he is amazing as the Joker and is my favorite Joker, and I think the best Joker, hands down, out of animation and other stuff. And you could say, like, yeah, his animation doesn't count as film, but he was in Mask of the Phantasm, which was released theatrically in '93. So I'm counting it. Mark Hamill, the force is strong with him. He is my favorite Joker out of all the Jokers. And on this list, there really is no bad or good, you know. My least favorite to most favorite, that's my list. Your list may differ from mine. Feel free to share your list of least to most favorite Jokers. I think all these actors have done a stellar job as the Clown Prince of Crime. So feel free in the comments. Let me know your list of what your favorite Jokers are. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on the Stardust app at Fred Film Fanatic. And check out these other videos on my channel. I'm going to be taking a bit of a break, but at the end of the month, I'm coming back with my top 10 films of 2019 that I've seen so far, and my favorite films of the 2010s. Until next time, everyone, remember, if you gotta go, go with a smile.